Just here for another Bible read through video. We got Genesis 24 on the docket for today. Just ahead of time, I apologize for my dog in the background. He's very old and he's struggling today, but he's laying right behind me. So if you hear him, I have the noise canceller thing on, but just in case, if you hear him, be kind about it. He's very old, so he's struggling a bit. But today we got Genesis 24. We got Isaac and Rebekah. As always, as we're reading through these, I encourage you guys, this is to encourage you guys to go read the word for yourself, spend some time in the word, see what God says to you, those kind of things. See what happens with it. But first one, Isaac and Rebekah. Now Abraham was old, well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said to his servants, the oldest of his household, who had charge of all that he had, put your hand under my thigh, that I may make you swear by the Lord and God of heaven and God of the earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. So he's concerned, starts off, the Lord blesses him, right? That obviously we've seen that through the story that the Lord has blessed Abraham over and over again in a bunch of different situations, in a bunch of different ways. Also with the one specific way that it's mentioning with the covenant and everything else, right? But he makes a pact asking that they don't give his son a wife from the Canaanites where they're from right off the bat. So verse 4, but we'll go to my country and to my kindred and take a wife for my son Isaac. The servant said to him, perhaps the woman may not be willing to follow me to this land. Must I then take your son back to the land from which I came? Abraham said to him, see to it that you do not take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and who spoke to me and swore to me, to the offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. So he's basically saying like, hey, what if it doesn't go how it's supposed to go? Am I just supposed to come right back and take one from here, or what are we doing there? And he's like, God will provide while you get there. He'll provide the person, he'll provide the way to do it, all the different things. All you have to do is just do as I'm telling you, right? Which is me doing as God told me, right? So pretty interesting start to the chapter for sure. But if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you will be free. Yeah. But verse 8, but if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you will be free from this oath of mine. Only you must not take my son back there. So he's like, you can go get the wife for him. Go get the woman we're looking for. But don't take him with you. Just go you. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham and his master and swore to him concerning this matter. Now, that's something that's repeated in the Bible. I've always thought it's kind of funny, but putting the hand under the thigh thing, I'm not 100% sure what the exact reference. Maybe it was literal, like that's what they did to make those pacts between each other, but different times, right? Verse 10, then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and departed, taking all sorts of choice gifts from his master, and he arose and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. And he made the camels kneel down outside the city by the well of water at the time of the evening, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show steadfast love to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let the young woman, whom I shall say, please let down your jar, and that I may drink, and who shall say, drink, and I will water your camels as well. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I shall know that you have shown steadfast love to my master. So he shows up with a plan, right? Whether it was Holy Spirit guided or whatever it was in the situation, he shows up at the well where he knows a lot of the women of the town are going to be coming out to get water, which is a pretty common thing back in the time. It was the same time of day pretty much every time before the heat of the day is when they were coming out. So he's going there. And he said to the Lord, he's like, hey, help me out here. I'm supposed to find the wife for Isaac. Let the one that I'm supposed to be picking and supposed to be saying, I'm going to say this. When she responds with this thing, that's how I'll know that this is the girl that I'm supposed to be taking with me. Verse 15, before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, and the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her water jar on her shoulder. The young woman was very attractive in appearance, a maiden whom no man had known. She went down to the spring and filled her jar and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, please give me a little water to drink from your jar. She said, drink, my lord. and she quickly let down her jar upon her hand and gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also until they have finished drinking. So she quickly emptied the jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw water, and she drew for all of his camels. The man gazed at her in silence to learn whether the Lord had proposed his journey, had prospered his journey or not. So she comes, she does all the things. It's all spitting image, pretty much exactly what was supposed to be done, right? There's a little differences in how things were said, but how's she gonna know the script of the thing, right? She said the things, and she gave him water and the camels as well. But verse 22. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold ring weighing a half shekel and 2 bracelets for her arms weighing 10 gold shekels and said, Please tell me whose daughter you are. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? She said to him, I am a daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. She added, We have plenty of both straw and fodder and room to spend the night. The man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord and said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his steadfast love and his faithfulness toward his master, toward my master. As for me, the Lord has led me in the way to the house of my master's kinsman. So notice how he immediately gives the Lord praise, right? That's what we all should be doing a lot more, to be honest. So we should take the Old Testament stories and look at them and see how openly and unapologetically these people praise their God. And that's exactly what we should be doing today. So just keep that in mind. But he says that he blessed him, he blessed Abraham, he's taken him on the journey he was supposed to be on, gave him the things he was supposed to give him, and he led him to the house of the relatives of Abraham. So that's kind of cool. Verse 28, Then the young woman ran and told her mother's household about these things. Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban. Laban ran out towards the man to the spring. As soon as he saw the ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms and heard the words of Rebekah, his sister, thus the man spoke to me. He went to the man, and behold, he was standing by the camels at the spring. He said, Come on in, O blessed of the Lord. Why do you stand outside? For I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man came to the house and unharnessed the camels and gave straw and fodder to the camels, and there was water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. So they welcomed her right in. It's really cool. It's like she came back. They believed her for one, and then they welcomed him right in, which is cool. He's all the things that Abraham told him would happen. That God will see your way through, kind of thing is happening here. 32. So the man came. I already did that. Verse 33. My apologies. Then food was set before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have said what I have to say. He said, Speak on. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master, and he has become great. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male servants and female servants, camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when he was old, and to him he has given all that he has. My master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I dwell, but you shall go to my father's house to my clan and take a wife for my son. I said to my master, Perhaps the woman will not follow me, but he said to me, The Lord, before whom I have walked, will send his angel with you and prosper your way. You shall take a wife for my son from my clan and from my father's house. So notice how he's going through and repeating all of the stuff. The Bible does this a lot, though, where like when these things are repeated like that, it's not because you didn't just read it 2 paragraphs ago and you're going to read it again and it wants to make sure you got it. It is kind of, but it's like that usually signifies to me that that's a super important piece of the story. So it's emphasizing that the Lord will send the Lord before whom I have walked will send his angel with you and prosper your way, is kind of what it's focusing on there. So keep that in mind. And if they will not give her to you, you will be free from my oath. I came today to the spring and said, Lord, O Lord my God of my master Abraham, if now you are prospering the way that I go, behold, I am standing by the spring of water. Let the virgin who comes out to draw water, to whom I shall say, Please give me a little water from your jar to drink, and who will say to me, Drink, and I will draw for your camels also. Let her be the woman whom the Lord has appointed for my master's son. So same thing, just repeating more reiterating to them, the people in the house, what was happening and why he's there, kind of thing. So he's not just this weird guy that's like, can I marry this girl? Or can my master marry this girl? Not even the guy, not even me, some guy I'm asking about you can't even see or know about. Before I had finished speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came out with her water jar on her shoulder, and she went down to the spring and drew water. I said to her, please let me drink. She quickly let down her jar from her shoulder and said, drink, and I will give your camels drink also. So I drank, and she gave the camels drink also. Then I asked her, whose daughter are you? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, and the horse son, whom Milcah bore to him. So I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her arms. Then I bowed my head and worshipped the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me by the right way to take the daughter of my master's kinsman for his son. Now then, if you are going to show steadfast love and faithfulness to my master, tell me, and if not, tell me that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. So he's repeating all this stuff up to that point. That was a big, long reiteration of everything. So keep in mind that when it does that, though, that usually signifies that that thing's pretty important. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing has come from the Lord. We cannot speak to you bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself to the earth before the Lord, and the servant brought out jewelry of silver and gold and garments and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave her brother and to her mother costly ornaments. And he said to the men who were with him, ate and drank, and then they spent the night there. When they arose in the morning, he said, send me away to my master. Her brother and her mother said, let the young women remain with us a while, at least 10 days. After that she may go. But he said to them, do not delay me, since the Lord has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. So notice how he's giving them gifts. It's like a bridal price kind of thing, right? And then they're asking if she can stay. They're going to miss her, right? They're giving her away kind of thing. And he's like, don't delay me. This is the God's plan kind of thing. He's done for me well so far, exactly what was supposed to be done. So I should keep my side of that and move forward with this and don't delay it anymore kind of thing, right? They said, let us call the young woman and ask her. And they called Rebekah and said to her, will you go with this man? She said, I will go. So they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, our sister, may you become thousands of 10,000s, and may your offspring possess the gate of those who hate him. Then Rebekah and her young women arose and rode on the camels and followed the man. Thus the servant took Rebekah and went on his way. So everything went the way it was supposed to go, all peaceful. The angel of the Lord made sure everything worked out as it was supposed to. So the message I take, a basic message I take from that, like I'm going to repeat the same things a lot because I think the same way when I read the Bible, personally, but God will provide. He will provide a way for you, no matter how impossible it looks and no matter how far away from a goal you may seem. To him, you're not as far away, right? He can always make anything happen out of barely anything. So just keep that in mind. Verse 62. Now Isaac had returned from Beer Lahai Roi, and was dwelling in the Negev. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field toward evening, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there were camels coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel and said to the servant, who is that man walking in the field to meet us? The servant said, it is my master. So she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Then Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. That's the end of the chapter 24 there. That's a longer chapter as far as number of verses and things like that, but there was some important pieces of the story. There was some reiterated paragraphs and things like that that add some length to it as well. But as always, I encourage you guys to go read that chapter for yourself because that is a good one. It talks about the whole process of him going and finding the wife for Isaac and then bringing her back. And he does exactly what Abraham says. And the angel of the Lord does exactly what he was supposed to do and what he said he was going to do and all the things. And I encourage you guys, I'm going to reiterate this again, though, is like, even if it seems like God's calling you to do something that seems impossible for you, whether like you don't have the skill set, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the expertise, the experience, access to whatever thing you need to get started, God will make a way. He parted the Red Sea, right? So if he can part water and turn it into land and let people walk through, he can do the tiny little thing in our life that we're trying to get through as well, comparatively, right? So just keep that in mind. But as always, spend some time in the Word, see what the Holy Spirit says to you. And I hope you guys are enjoying these.